So welcome to practice. My name is Laura, and yes, you might be seeing Matilda, the dog, her head over there off to the side. And you might see a cat or two walk by as well. The props that you might collect to use today could be blocks or block substitutes, a blanket or a cushion to sit on, to use for knee padding. And if you have a yoga strap or a yoga strap substitute, something like a beach towel, go ahead and grab that, have that nearby. So as we are arriving, gathering our props, we'll just take a few moments to find a position that is comfortable for you. Now, it may be a cross-legged seat. It doesn't have to be. So just take a few moments to arrive. Invite the eyes to rest. And perhaps the body sighs. We may take a deep inhale in through the nostrils and just let it go. And if that feels good, consider repeating it a time or several. Full deep inhales. Perhaps long sighing exhales. And we may continue to give the body a few little wobbles and rocks. Letting the eyes rest. Coming towards a closed mouth style of breath. We may be inhaling through the nostrils and exhaling through the nostrils. We may spin our palms to face up, very lightly touching the thumbprints and index fingerprints together. The other fingertips softly curled upwards. Observing where we feel supported. Soften the shoulders. Soften the jaw. Is there anywhere else that we can find a little more ease? And as we observe the breath, consider bringing movement now into the fingers. And if the toes want to come along for the ride, let them. And we may be feeling the inner shape shift of the body with each breath cycle. Let's still the fingers and spin the palms to face down. Wobbling up, rocking up, getting a little taller, a little longer. Softening. Where can we find more ease? The muscles of the jaw, the neck, the shoulders with each exhale. I'm going to mirror directionally, so we might grab a prop and bring it over to your left side. And perhaps we just let a hand rest on that prop, and we might slide the prop a little further out to the side. Creating a little shift, a little lean out to the side, perhaps a nod in the head. And let's just observe what's happening with that right seat. So are you tipping up? Is it available today, perhaps to anchor down, to keep that seat down? And maybe that means backing off the lean a little bit, coming up a little bit higher. This still feels pretty good. We might reach that right arm up and overhead. And perhaps we return movement to the fingers. And very gently, we'll rise back up, palms facing up, thumbprints, index fingerprints softly connected, eyes at rest. Full inhale, feel the widening of the ribs. Soften the shoulders, the jaw, the neck with each exhale. Let's again spin the palms to face down, and perhaps we're finding that prop and bringing it off to the second side. Maybe that's the right side. And just sliding the prop out and creating a little bit of lean. And we might be using that hand just as a reminder to keep that left seat down. Full breath, maybe a little nod of the head. Well, perhaps we're reaching that left arm up in the air. Maybe we lean a little deeper. We might bring more movement into the fingers. Breathing into those long side bodies. And let's find our way back to center. Again, resting backs of the hands on the left. Thumb prints, index fingerprints softly connected. Eyes at rest. Observing the inner landscape. As you feel ready, spinning palms to face down and inviting the shoulders to roll, one shoulder and then the other. We might incorporate a little bit of movement into the neck and just notice if you're very speedy, see if you can slow it down a little bit. And we'll just find a pause point and reverse direction, rolling the shoulders. Wiggling up, rising up, we may grab our props, bring them in front of the shins, in front of the knees, and consider a forward lean. If we're feeling a little tighter through the hips, we might be finding these shifts or tips side to side. And again, just notice the seat. Maybe your seat is rising, lifting up and off the ground. And we might just back it up, bring the seat down, and re-investigate tipping forward. How does that feel? And maybe the seat comes up again. We're just observing how the body feels. We might sink down a little bit lower, perhaps connect the palms and support the brow. We may squeegee the brow with the sides of the thumbs. And then rising back up. And as we rise up, perhaps we tip back, lean back, and just notice, maybe you have a leg on top or the leg in front. Notice which one it is. And let's slide the legs long and give a little wiggle. Just shake it out through the knees. We might take our fingers sort of like claws around the knees and do a little bit of self-massage. It can feel nicer right underneath the kneecaps. Just to work in gently, gently. Maybe circling the thumbs around those inner knees. And we might take both hands to one thigh and just give ourselves a little self-massage, moving up the thigh, back down the thigh, and trading sides. So let's swap it up, the cross of the legs. Wiggle the sits bones back. And maybe your knees or hips would prefer props underneath the legs. Taking a few moments, checking in, let the eyes rest. Returning to our observations of the breath within. Bringing movement back into the fingers. And perhaps movement into the toes. And let's connect the palms, bring the palms together, and we might just rub the hands together for a moment. And then pull the fingers apart, and we may just go back and forth. Like there's taffy between the fingers. Land in a spot where we start to twirl the wrists, circle the wrists, and then go the other way, circle wrists in second direction. Pressing both hands out to the side, turn your head to one side. It doesn't matter which, we'll do both. Reach out through the heels of the hands, and we may tip back, lean back a little bit, and then gather back in. Finding the breath, reach the hands out, turn the head to that second side, reaching out, extending out through the arms, maybe a little movement in the fingers, and gathering the hands back in towards midline. Weaving the hands together, we usually have a favorite side, so just acknowledge which thumb you've placed on top. Press the palms down and forward. Now, if that doesn't work for your wrist or your fingers for any reason, you can always separate the fingers. But we might be pressing down and out, scoop in. Try going a little higher. Scoop in. Maybe we go all the way up to the ceiling. Bend an elbow. Press up through the heel of one hand. Head may tilt towards bending elbow side. It doesn't have to be a dramatic elbow bend. And then bend the other elbow, reaching up through the heel of the hand. Head tilts to second side, and then we might just wiggle up, turning towards your right, twisting to the right side. Chin may find the right, perhaps nodding the head. How does this feel in your neck? Inhale through the middle, and as we exhale, rotating second side. Perhaps we're nodding the head. Let's inhale through the middle, thumbs to forehead, thumbs to heart. So there's that second thumb on top, but this time we're going behind the back. So we might just put our hands on our hips and roll the shoulders back. So it feels like the shoulder blades are getting a little closer together on the back body. We may hug the elbows in. We can stop there. Let's notice what the head might be doing. Sometimes the head juts forward, and I'm very much exaggerating it. Slide the head back. Try to keep the head back. So perhaps we bend in elbows, second thumb on top. We may weave the fingers together behind the back, and you're welcome to keep elbow bend. We might extend the arms. We might work those arms closer to straight. Make sure that you can breathe. It may be a lot in the shoulders. Rebending the elbows, releasing. We may prefer stillness. We might go back into those shoulder rolls, kind of like we're paddling a kayak, and then go the other way. We may find props, mine under my knees, and bring them forward. And we start to find a little tip, a little lean forward on this side. Feel free to drift side to side, checking in with the hips, the cheeks, the low back. We may connect the palms, we may rest the eyes, support the brow. We may return to squeegeeing the brow. And then gradually, we'll make our way back up. And let's again rock back and extend each leg. Go long, press out through the heel. And we may let that hip slide forward. Release, draw the heel in, second side when you're ready. So we're pressing that heel forward. We're letting the hip slide a little further forward and releasing. So I'm going to turn sideways. Feel free to turn in a way where you have room to the right and to the left. We may place both hands on the ground. Fingers do not have to be facing in. You might have fingertips facing out or fingertips facing back. Let's tip our knees over to one side, perhaps pinwheeling the knees, starting to find a rotation, a twist. That top hand could stay on the ground, on the thigh, the belly. Staying with the breath. Let's lift the knees back through the middle, slowly traveling to that second side. Feeling breath in body. And then gradually we'll make our way back to the middle. Fan the toes, scoop the hips forward. Notice where your props are. You want to be able to reach your strap as we come down onto back body. So we'll make our way onto the back. If you need a little support under the head, please find a little pillow prop. And let's invite both knees into the chest. The invitation is to keep the nose tip up to the ceiling. Don't feel like you have to turn your head to look at the device. So we might find a little rock side to side and a little bit of push, pull, one knee towards the ceiling while the other moves towards the chest as we rock. Feeling into the sacrum, into the low back. And then just take a moment and dust off the feet, just in case there's any floor debris, sand on the feet, dust it off. Let a foot move up to the ceiling. Pull the toes towards the knee and then point. Go back and forth, sussing into the back of that leg. Let the ankle swirl around, swirl it in the second direction. Rebend the knee, weave the fingers together and invite that thigh into the chest. Feel the belly rise towards the ceiling with the inhale, sinking to the ground with each exhale. Optionally slide the other leg long across the ground so the heel may have landed on the floor. We might give a little rock, just a little bounce or jostle to that right thigh, and we may very, very gently widen the right thigh. Moving outside the ribs, that is if you are on the right side. You may have started on the other side, and that's perfectly fine. We will do both. And let's release that foot down to the ground. Slide the long leg foot up and in. As we raise the legs, flex and point, flex and point. Circle the ankle. Circle ankle in second direction. Now, maybe you have a lot of bend in your knee and you're just kind of like, not too much going on here. What if you were to extend that leg? What if you were to work the leg closer to straight while doing those motions? Starting to rebend the knee, we may be finding that bind, and we might just rock a little side to side. We may jostle the lower leg back and forth. We might start to extend the other leg across the ground. And as we're breathing, we may be widening bent knee side a little further, moving out to the ribs, maybe even beyond the ribs. Full breathing. And let's gradually return bent knee foot to the floor, step or slide the other foot in. And expand the arms out towards a T position with the palms face up. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. Turn the nose to one side. Take a full breath cycle. Let the nose tip rebound to center. Let the elbows find a little bend, very gentle goalpost arm position. And we may find a little nod of the head, a little yes nod. Extending the arms again, working more of the bend out of the elbows. Let the nose tip travel to the second side. Breathing. Slacken the jaw, notice the shoulder, the neck. As we find our nose tip moving back to center, let the elbows bend. Full breathing. We may hook the thumbs, palms up, and reach the arms overhead. Go for length, invite movement into the fingers. We may slide that right leg long. Pressing down through that right heel, right toe tips face up. Rebend the elbows, step the right foot in. Try swapping the hook of the thumbs. It will probably feel awkward. Extend the arms and press that second leg. Perhaps it's the left leg long. Reach up through the fingertips. Reach down and out through that left heel. Full breathing. Bend the elbows. Slide the left foot back in. Invite both knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock. We may wrap the hands around the knees. Now, if your back is very sensitive, if your floor is very hard, you might just stay where you are. You might put a folded blanket under your back for extra cushion. Perhaps we roll up. We might curl our nose towards our knees and then release back down. Return the feet to the ground and just look around. Find that strap if you're using one. You could always have a pretend strap. So let's draw the left knee into the chest and wrap the strap around the ball mounds of the toes, starting to work that left leg closer to straight. Now maybe you bend and extend the leg a few times. We might land with more bend in the knee. We might work that leg closer to straight and start to draw a tiny smiley face in the air with your heel. Just a teeny tiny movement, turning the heel out, turning the heel in. We may find a spot where we land and draw the little toe side of that left foot down. If that's too intense, back it off. Full breath. We may take both ends of the strap into that left hand for a moment, so you can take your left thumb and hook it into your left hip crease. So you don't have to do this with your thumb. This is just to get a sense of where the action is happening. So you're pressing down with your hand, but really you're rolling the hip away from the shoulder, away from the armpit. And then just release the hand, maintaining that action, moving the hip away from the shoulder, away from the armpit. Let's rebend the left leg and replace left foot with the right. And maybe the side's a little different. We might bend the knee and extend the leg. If and when you feel ready to land with a straightish leg, reach that leg up in the air. Starting to draw that little tiny smiley face with your heel. Turn the heel out, turn the heel in. There may be some big sensations. And we might find center and draw down on the little toe side of the right foot, shoulders resting on the ground. We might slide both ends of the strap into that left hand, find your right thumb, hook it under the right hip crease. You might just imagine it's there. Sending that hip down away from the shoulder, and then let go with the thumb. Bend that right knee just enough to feel comfortable, stepping the left foot into the strap along with the right foot. Slide the feet wider apart, and we may draw figure eights on the floor with your very low back, with the sacrum. And we may find center and slide the feet a little wider apart. We might just stick with a little rock side to side. Now, if you feel like your hips and low back are curled up off the ground, you could fold up a blanket and use it as a wedge under the hips. We might start to bend the knees. So thighs and knees moving wider than the ribs. Deep knee bend. Maybe there's a dull achiness in one or both inner thighs. In a good way. Back it off if it's feeling too intense. And then slowly slide the feet up, stepping one foot out of the strap at a time. So just be careful the strap doesn't hit you in the face. So we'll bring the feet to the ground. Just place the strap off to the side for now. Raise the hands, twirl the wrists, go the other way. Let's bring the palms down to the floor, outside the hips, tuck the shoulder blades down the back. Feet are about hips distance apart. Start to curl the hips up and let the arms rise overhead, reaching forward through the knees. And then as we roll the back body down, the hands follow, landing back alongside the hips. So let's keep right palm down. Press into the feet, lift the hips and left arm, turn the nose opposite. So nose goes right. Roll down, nose to center, left hand landing. And then the right arm rises and the nose turns left. Rolling down. So let's come up through center. Bring it back down. And let's do one more time to either side. Left arm, nose goes right. Right arm high, nose moves left. We'll bring it back down to the ground. Turn the head to one side, and maybe you find a block, a cushion, a folded blanket. Let the hips rise, and slide the prop on its lowest setting underneath the hips. Let's rock the right knee into the chest. So we might be using the block in particular as a massage tool. You might be finding the edge of the block and enjoying a little rock, massaging into the low back. We may weave the fingers around the shin or behind the thigh. And we might start to send that other leg long, letting the heel drape towards the ground. And as we're breathing, we may be finding very gentle jostles. We may be widening right thigh out to the right. Let the belly rise and fall. So we may have taken that right knee fairly wide. Take a few moments to rock the knee back towards center. Option to step the left foot in and reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. Push up through the heel. The thigh, the hip are moving away from the chest. Breathing into belly. Soften the jaw. Rebend the knees, let the foot come back down to the ground. Take your time. Rocking left thigh into the chest. Feel free to use that block as a massage tool, a little rock back and forth. If and when you're ready, we're going for that bind, and maybe we're bringing the second favorite thumb on top. And we may be sliding right leg long, letting the heel sink towards the ground. We may find that little seesaw rocking motion, much more gentle than a seesaw, really. Just little shakes. Soften the jaw, let those shakes shake out any tension you're holding in the temples, the brow, the belly. And then gradually guiding that left thigh, left knee back to the middle. So maybe you want to step that right foot in. Maybe you're comfortable keeping that right leg long as we extend the left leg up towards the ceiling, perhaps push up through the heel. That might turn it up in a delicious way. I'm fast and loose with the term delicious here. Pressing that hip down away from the shoulder like you may have done with your thumb. Rebending the knee, stepping that right foot in. Let's return the other foot down to the ground and create a little seesaw with the feet. Let the body sigh, hover the hips, slide the prop out, and create a little glide right to left, side to side. Now we don't have a large distance to travel, so you're pretty close to the floor, and we're just gliding side to side, and then sway left and land the hips. Let the knees rock back into the chest, and consider tipping both thighs, both knees to the right. Now, if this is more twist stretch than you're enjoying, you could always put a wedge, folded blanket, a big cushion underneath that underleg, in this case, the right leg. Let's say you're feeling really open and you want a little more, we might press that right elbow, upper arm to the ground and scooch that right shoulder just a smidge further, unfurling the right arm. Chin could roll to the right. We may keep that left hand on left side body, let the eyes rest. Sensing the movement of the breath within. Using the breath to lengthen. Inviting both knees back towards the middle. Give a little rock. We'll drop the feet. Let the hips rise and navigate over towards that right side. We'll rock both thighs into the chest. And we might just stick with that for a moment because it feels good. And then let the knees tip. Feel free to take a prop with you, a wedge with you. We may be keeping bend in the right elbow, right hand on right ribs. Find that fullness of breath. Possibly point that left elbow towards the left, press into that upper arm and scooch that left shoulder a little more left and maybe unfurl the left arm. Breathing into that entire right side of the back. And take your time, bringing the knees back to the middle. Let the feet land. Press into the feet, sway the hips back to the left, bend the right elbow out to the right with the palm and elbow, inner elbow face up so that you can tip into a side lying position. Resting on right side body. And then at your own pace, maybe plant that left hand and extend the top leg, left leg. You're probably going to roll off your mat. We can adjust that in a moment. Extend the right leg, roll all the way over onto the belly. And then if you'd like to scooch back onto your mat because you rolled off, please do. We may tuck our toes, tucking the toes under, creating these little steps, kind of little rocks, side to side, stretching into the toes, elbows down, wiggling forward. So we're lengthening, stretching the front body. And then bending the knees to point the feet and let the toes be pointed. Of course, if your feet cramp, tuck them, stretch them, whatever you need to do. So we're breathing in our Sphinx pose, and we might step one elbow to the right and maybe the left elbow follows. We might take that right elbow a little more right, and we might start to side bend, tip, lean more to the right. We might slide that left hand diagonally left, using the hand to press away. You may want to grab a block or a big softball and use it as a pillow underneath that right cheek of the face. We'll move back to the middle, maybe take your prop with you back to the middle. And we may just tip, lean, sway a little side to side. Breathing. Step that left elbow a little more left, right elbow can follow, and that might be enough. There's no hurry. There's no need to go further, but maybe we do. Take that left elbow a little more left, and the right elbow follows. So enhancing that side bend. And if we're taking a prop with us, we might just kind of put it off to the left somewhere, look to the right, and perhaps we slide that right arm on a diagonal out to the right, leaning away from it, tipping away from it. And we might use that prop to support the jaw, support the cheek. And gently finding our way back to the middle. And we might again just lengthen a little side to side. Then as we come down, option to land on one cheek and slide the arms back, palms face up so the shoulders may drape, eyes can be at rest. And both knees may bend, so toe tips pointing towards the ceiling. Tipping the toes to one side, find the middle. Tip to the other side. And you could keep up with this gentle sway, kind of like windshield wipers on the slowest setting. But maybe we start to circle. We might loop-de-loop the lower legs and loop-de-loop in the second direction. Let the feet land. Let the head turn to the second side. Take a moment, breathing. We may roll the ankles and the outer heels towards the long edges of the mat a little more. Drop them back in. We might again bend the knees. And we may cross the lower legs. So you're making an X, open, and then cross. So you're trading which lower leg is on top or in front. Just going back and forth. Let's land the feet, plant the hands, let the chest rise, rolling back into a child's pose. So hips are moving towards the heels. You are welcome to grab a prop for the brow and support the brow. Knees might move a little wider. You might have elbows in, bends in elbows. You do have elbows. You might slide the arms further forward, working arms closer to straight. Let's slide the hands in, start to roll up. Now, as we rise up, take your time. We might be reaching out and finding our blanket to use as knee padding, knee cushion. Tuck it under the knees, and we might grab a couple of blocks to make our arms longer. So bringing the blocks forward, let's just take a moment and think about lifting that right foot forward between the bricks. Left knee can be cushioned. And we might just sway ourselves gently, gently into a lunge. And then inviting the hips back, depending on how the back of the leg is feeling. We might go back and forth. Maybe you're feeling ready to slide the hips back, spin the blocks higher up, and inchworm the toes forward, perhaps rocking back on the heel. So we may turn the toes towards the right, the toes, the knee, leg dialing a little more right. Toes may move towards midline, and then perhaps toes towards the left. And we might just find a spot where, that's the spot and we're staying. Let's rebend that front knee and consider placing left hand on the ground, right hand on right knee, tucking left toes, letting that left knee rise. And perhaps we're reaching the right arm up in the air, going for a twist. Returning left knee to the ground, we may find the blocks. And perhaps we move the right hand block inside the right foot and heel toe, right foot wide. And we might just keep heel toeing until it's easier to bring that right knee back in line with the left. So second side, when you're ready, we have our blocks for long arms. And we're negotiating that left foot forward. Shifting forward towards the lunge. And maybe we're coming right back out of it, but we might find a spot that we can breathe for a few more rounds. And we may let the hips slide backwards. Please feel free to go back and forth. Maybe we're sliding the blocks up, inchworming, or sliding that left foot further forward. Toe tips may point towards the ceiling. Maybe we're starting to turn the toes out to the left. Try to keep that left thigh engaged. Toe tips back to the middle. Toe tips turning in. And it can be a much more subtle movement, and we may just hold. Let's start to slide the heel and rebend the knee. We'll take that right hand out to the right, left hand, left knee, maybe tuck the right toes, elevate that right knee, go for length, and perhaps the top arms reaching up in the air. Rebending, release the knee down, find the blocks, and perhaps we move left block inside left foot and heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, until it just feels easier to draw the leg backwards. So optionally, we might slide the hands forward and you can stay at hands and knees. We might tuck the toes and lift the hips. And we may pedal the feet, shifting right side, left side. We may tilt the head a little side to side. And then walking the feet closer to the hands, finding our way into a standing forward fold. Head may nod. Hips may sway. Bringing bend into the knees, forearms onto the thighs, fan the toes, let the hips sink. Take your time. When you feel ready to come to stand, really take your time. Maybe your knees are asking for a little something else. We'll slowly rise up, shifting it out, shifting side to side. We may bring the left hand up to a wall and step the right toes back. We may bend that right knee and grab your pants, or maybe grab your foot, trying to point that right knee down to the ground. Rolling the head of the shoulder back, crown of the head is high. Maybe a little nod in the head. Releasing the leg, let's turn around to bring the other hand onto the wall. Stepping left toes back, bending the knee, grab your pants, use a strap to lasso the foot if you like, or hold the foot. Crown of the head high. Releasing the foot, shift it out. Let's step onto the long edge of the mat and either heel toe or step the feet to a wide position. I'm mirroring, turn your right toes to face a short edge of the mat. Lunge bending into the front knee and re-extend. So you're listening to the hip and you're listening to the knee. Is there a place where it's comfortable-ish to hold? Might feel like work, stretch. We don't want it to feel like pain. We could keep hands on hips. We may open the arms wide. We may peer out over right fingers. We may take that right forearm onto the thigh, take the top arm up and overhead. And then as we're breathing, could we get lighter on that right arm? We might hover the right arm, rise back up, pivot right toes in, left toes out. Hello, bending into that knee. How's the knee? How's the hip? We might find a spot where we land, shoulders forward, expand the arms, chin gaze over to the left. Staying connected to breath and body. And then perhaps letting that left hand come onto the thigh. And we could keep right hand on the hip, but we might reach it up in the air or overhead. And then we might get very, very light or moderately light on that left forearm. And rise back up. Pivot toes forward. Heel toe feet in a smidge. Let's turn the heels out. Bend into the knees as much as needed. Hinge at the hips. Let the hands come down to the ground, onto a chair seat. And we may sway the hips a little bit side to side. We may find stillness and perhaps we walk the heels of the hands back towards heels of the feet, but we can also stay right where you're at. Let's take a moment, walk the hands in. So we'll rise part way up. We may put bend in the knees and plant that left hand kind of centered under the chest. We may turn the right toes out a little bit, right hand, right thigh, right hand, right hip, maybe reaching that right arm up in the air. We might re-extend the right leg and turn right toes in. Rebending the elbow, let the right hand come down onto a prop or onto the ground. We're just replacing left hand, left toes pivot out. We're bending into left knee, left hand, left thigh. We can keep the hips higher. We don't have to raise the arm, but we might. Maybe we reach that arm up in the air. Maybe we re-extend the left leg and pivot toes in. Rebending the elbow, letting the hand come back down to the ground, and perhaps we walk the heels of the hands further back. We may peel the heels of the hands up and off the ground. Walking the hands forward, heel, toe, heel in. So we have a very wide V with the feet, and the heels may rise. We may be sinking the hips. You're listening to your knees, your hips. Now, some of us, the heels are going to come to the ground, and some of us, they're just not going to. You're welcome to roll up a blanket, a mat, put that wedge underneath you. You could even sit on a block. But if the heels don't come down, You could find a way to navigate heels up on a roll. We might connect palms in front of the heart. You might have a balance ball. A balance ball can be a great way to kind of roll through a squat, but maybe we're sitting on a block or two. Now I will say, for those of us where it's easy to bring the heels to the floor, maybe we lose a little when we sit on a block, and maybe that's okay. Maybe that's exactly what you need today. Take your time when you feel ready, rooting down and lifting the hips back towards the ceiling. Pivot the toes forward. Give the head a little circle nod, slackening the jaw, unwinding that tension, pouring it down, 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 into the ground metaphorically. Bending the knees, transition forearms to thighs, let the hips sink, listen to those knees, and we're rising back up, shift it out. So let's think about the props that we have nearby. We're going to set ourselves up for a supported back bend. You could use your blocks. You could use a blanket or two folded and stacked. If you've got a big cushion, you could use a cushion. So maybe most of us have blocks, so that's an option where we take a block, put it maybe on its medium setting, and the block in front of it goes on its low setting. So we'll bring ourselves down. If you are block propping, bring the blocks to the base of your shoulder blades. And as we tip the head back, we're letting that block be our support for the head or the neck. Now, what feels right for the legs and the low back? Perhaps we have wide feet, knees tipping in. Perhaps the legs are long and fully extended. We may open the arms out to the side with a little bend in the elbows, palms face up. Taking a few moments to settle in. Now, if this is your propping situation, you can stay right where you are. Alternatively, if you have blankets or a bolster, the blankets are in a rectangle, you're stacking them up, or a big cushion, same shape. Your bottom stays on the ground, but more of your back body will be supported. So you're tipping back onto that support. And again, you have those options with your legs. Maybe we're crossing the legs. Letting the eyes rest. Noticing where you feel supported the most. That point of contact and connection. Sinking into that support. Observing the body's shape shifts as we inhale and expand, and exhale, releasing. Inviting tension to unfurl. You are welcome to stay here longer. You might be returning movement to fingers, movement to toes. You might be returning soles of the feet to the ground. Very carefully coming off your props to rest on the side that is easiest for you. Pressing into the top hand to return yourself to a seat. We'll take a prop and just have it nearby. Maybe it's a block, maybe it's your blanket. I'm going to continue with the mirroring. Let's fold the left leg in and slide the right leg long. Now we may tip forward, sends its bones back. And perhaps you want a prop underneath the knee, underneath the leg. Maybe you want two props. You might have another prop underneath the bent knee side. So take a few moments. Does this work for you? Make any adjustments needed. And we might tip in. We might lean in, supporting the brow. Noticing how this feels in that extended leg, the long leg, the back body. And if you feel like you are just arriving, of course, stay longer. So we may rise up and support the long leg, bend the knee, bring it in. And we're sending second leg long. Perhaps we're adjusting a prop underneath the knee. We might wiggle forward, rock the sits bones back. And this could be enough. But we may tip in. We may tip in and support the brow. Full breath. Staying longer if you like. We may rise up, but keep that left leg long this time. And extend the right leg long. Now you might want a prop under each knee. We may just press out through the heels. Perhaps we take the hands behind the back and tip it backwards a little bit. We might be tipping forward, supporting the brow. You absolutely do not need to go anywhere else. We may rise up, support behind the knees to gather the legs in. Letting those inner sensations settle. And then consider if you have a strap nearby. And if you do, go ahead and grab the strap. So if this is the sort of strap that has a buckle, this one has a buckle, we're going to make one very large loop. So right now this one has a small loop, so I'm just going to adjust this out, or to demonstrate, we'll just make it as large as possible and then tuck that other end of the strap back in. So we have one big loop. If you have a wall maybe that doesn't have anything on it, come to that wall. I'm going to demonstrate on this door. If you're going to use a door, make sure it is a sturdy door. This one is not, but I'm going to work with that. So we'll bring perhaps the short edge of your mat up to a wall. You can clear your blocks away, but maybe have a blanket or a pillow nearby and your strap. So we'll bring your left side butt right up to the wall so that you can pivot onto the back. Now, if you know your hips, your back, your hamstrings are tighter, you're going to be further away from the wall. You're going to make more of a slope. Bending your knees so that the soles of your feet can press into your wall. And this is why a sturdy door would be needed. I'm going to go wider. Press into the feet so you can lift the hips up and slide the prop under your hips. And then reach the legs up the wall. So this might be your spot. Now we may find the strap, bend the knees, drape the strap over the feet, and then let the feet go wide. So the strap's going to provide a boundary, a border for the little toe sides of your feet. You might have a longer strap, the legs may go wider. Let the eyes rest, let the heels rest against the wall. If you prefer to go lower, you could always put the strap on the ankles instead. Now the arms may be wide. You might choose to rest with palms face down or a hand on the belly, a hand on the heart. We might weave the fingers together, thumbs pointing upwards, and rest the palms on the upper chest. You are welcome to keep the legs exactly as they are. We might draw the feet back together, soles of the feet come together, turning the knees out, letting the little toe sides of the feet slide down the wall. Consider sliding the heels back up the wall, perhaps stepping each foot down the wall, removing the strap, and very carefully tipping to rest on one side. Pressing into that top hand to return to a seat. Letting the eyes rest. Connecting palms, rubbing hands together. Bringing a hand to the belly and a hand to the heart. Deep inhale. And releasing. The invitation is to seal our practice with vibrational sound. You are welcome to join me with the sound Om. You are welcome to hum or sing any sound that vibrates for you. Deep inhale. Om. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this practice. Please let me know if anyone has any questions.